continue the last session. Yeah. I'm just going for the laws of fixed deltas. How to set up deltas and all, I'll just show you here. So I told you what is the delta. Delta is, what is delta? Change in the source. Yeah, source. Since the last load. Since the last load. Delta is nothing but change in the source since the last load. Right. There are three types of delta mechanisms for laws of fixed deltas. One is direct delta, second one that cube delta, third one unserialized V3 update. Unserialized V3 update. So apart from this, we will having serialized V3 update due to timestamp errors. It is removed. That's what. First, let me tell you what happens in indirect delta. Just want to explain what happens in direct delta. Our user posted transactions are updated to document tables. The user posted transactions are updated to document tables. So apart from that, it is also updated to see the updation of data is going to be through. There is something called V1 update. So there is something called V1, V2, V3 updates. V1 is synchronous update. V1 update, that is synchronous update. Means whenever there is some sales order, directly it has to be affected to sales order tables. So this direct effect is nothing but synchronous update. So directly means the transactions are getting directly affected to the consent table. It is a high priority job. Next one, there is something called V2 update. The same sales order transaction due to module integration, it has to be updated to other applications tables. It is V2 update, which is less priority job when compared to synchronous update. There is something called V3 update. So this is batch background update for delta record collection. It is a batch. It is a synchronous batch background. It is also a synchronous batch background update for delta record collection. Right. So what happens? So this is, we don't select any of these things manually. It is automatic. We not over it. Just so user posted transactions because of V1 update. It is updated to your standard tables, nothing but document tables. Because of same V1 update, it is updated to something called delta queue. I told you every delta record must pass through delta. Every delta record must pass through delta queue. Any extractor. Delta queue is RSS7. From delta queue, using info package to the BW system. It is collected to the BW system. And here, we can only collect small volumes of delta. The record volumes I need to mention, small volumes of delta records. And you got the limited serialization. What is the serialization? In the source system, records are posted in some sequence. If they are collected to BW system in the same sequence, known as serialization. If they are collected to BW system in the same sequence, known as serialization. That's what. So you got limited serialization. So next one, Q delta. This is a very important one. Mostly in the live we are going to use this mechanism. So I'm talking about now Q delta. So once again, user posted transactions because of V1 update. It is updated to standard tables. And now the V2 update comes into picture. And the V2 update is going to upload the data to something called extraction queue. That is LBW queue. What is the need of this queue? What is the advantage? I'm going to talk to you. From this extraction queue, it only every delta record must pass through delta. From extraction queue, we are going to set V3 jobs at LBW. We are going to set V3 jobs at LBW. So because of this V3 jobs, the delta records are collected to delta queue. From there, by using info package delta, we can collect to BW system. Right. Let us repeat once. User is posting the transaction which is updated to default standard tables. Apart from that, because of V2 update, it is updated to something called extractions. So from this extraction queue, to collect the data to delta queue, we are supposed to schedule some V3 jobs. So from this delta queue, what happens? Using info package delta, it is collected to BA. That's right. Next one, we have got something called unserialized V3 update. Unserialized V3 update. So what is that? What is the advantage of your Q delta? We can collect large volumes of data. And we got serialization. The advantage is serialization. In whatever sequence records are posted to source, they are collected to build the system in the same sequence. We have serializations. Large volumes of data and even serialization is possible. That's right. So now I'm talking about unserialized V3 update. So once again, user posted transactions because of V1 update, it is updated to document tables. So from this document tables, it is updated to something called update tables. Right. From this update table, using V3 jobs once again, it is collected to delta. So from this delta queue, using info package delta mode, it is collected to BW. So that is how you need to go on with. And this way you can collect large volumes of data. It doesn't matter. Large volumes of data. Next one. So no serialization at all. Don't have any serializations. So regarding this, I have given a separate document. If you want to go through that. So these are the different types of delta mechanisms. And I'll show you how to set up the delta for Q deltas. I just want to go for how to set up this delta mechanism for Q delta. So first of all, out of different mechanisms, I just want to choose Q delta. First of all, I just want to go for that. So just log into a source system first of all. Go with LBW. Find your application. See, this is your sales address. By defining the concern application, now so you can see update mode of your application. You can see direct delta, queue delta and unserialized V3 update. Direct delta, queue delta and unserialized V3 update. As of now I'm just going by queue delta. As of now I'm going by queue delta mechanism. That's what. And here we are going to get the request using that request we have to transport the even update mode also. Here already it is selected, that's why it's not getting that. So we have to transport that update mode also. That's right. Now we have selected a delta mechanism called queue delta. Now after this what to do? User has to post the transaction. So what I'll do is act as a user, I'll try to create a sales order. I'll just try to create a sales order. So VA01 sales orders. All the sales orders are created by using VA01. Order type OR, sales are 1000. This is all configured by your SD consultant, may not worry. Just press enter once. Right, so to party 1000 I'm just going. Ship to party also 1000. So purchase order number I'm just making it as 3. Material I'm 16. Standards I'm using the order quantity from 11 units. And save the sales order. So just copying sales at 1000 details. Just go on with continue. Blindly create an entry. Our objective is not to create the entry, just to collect the records. That is, you can say delta records. So, a document is created 12063, you can see. Now as per our mechanism, it is updated to document tables, we are not bothered, and it is updated to something called extraction queue. Let us check the data in extraction queue. You can check the number of entries, that's all. Okay. It's not there. Yeah, now you can see. Number of entries. One transaction is updated, that's what it shows. Now from this extraction queue, I'm supposed to collect the data to delta queue. For that I'm supposed to schedule some V3 jobs. So let me show you how to schedule the V3 jobs. Right, LVW go to and find your application, and you can say job control of your application. Click on job control. And you have to maintain start date when you want to start, immediate, and generally they are the repeated jobs, periodic jobs, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, like this. You have to select the required one and then save it. I'm not going for any periodic jobs, just save it. And maintain some dummy printer parameters. Just continue, and now you have to schedule the job. So once you schedule the job, you have to go for job monitor. Schedule, job overview. It's running, you can see. What is happening now? The data is getting collected from extraction queue to delta queue. Just refresh it once, it says finished. Means the data is successfully collected to delta Q. If you want to check the data in delta Q, we can verify it. So just go to RSS7. We can verify the data in delta Q. So that's what your data source. This is your data source. Find your data source and go with details. Execute. You can see the document that is created. Now the document is at delta Q. From there, by using info package delta mode, you need to schedule to BW system. And even you have to run once info package gets the data to data source. From data source, if you want to load data to data target, you have to schedule the DTP. So let me schedule the info package. So from there, you can just schedule your DTPs. It doesn't matter. Right. Go to data sources. So this is your data source. Then your info package. So update. You can see delta update. Update tab, delta update. You have to select delta update. Schedule, start, message, continue. Now you are going to get that one record. So this is how you need to handle your LO delta updates. Now it is loading data to data source. From data source, you are supposed to schedule data to data target by using DTPs. So go to monitor. It's running. Successful now. If you want to check, you can see that you're going to get document number 14063. You can see 12063. And if you want to schedule DTP, just go on with DTP. What is the DTP we are using? Yeah, this is what. So just go with execute. This is our target now. Just go with execute. That's all. So that's all. So that is how you need to handle LO deltas. Very, very important. I'm telling you. It's very, very important. This is the topic which is very, very important. Next one. Just going for next topic. Data source enhancements. Data source enhancements. Data source enhancements. If the delivered data source need to be appended with even generic data source also. If the requirement changes, need to be appended with. If the delivered data source need to be appended with any additional column. If the delivered data source need to be appended with any additional column. say it has to be enhanced. It has to be enhanced. We are going for enhancements using data source enhancements. Any additional columns you want to add, you can just add by using data source enhancements. So there are two steps in the data source enhancements. Regarding this, you have got a separate document. You can see data source enhancement. There are two steps in the data source enhancements. So one is adding the new column to the data source. Adding the new column to the data source. Second one, populating data to the new column by using user exit. Populating data to the new column by using user exit. So adding the new column to the data source. That's what appending. This is appending. You can do it by using RSS6. Then say we have to go to C mode, and the exit that we have to use is RSAP0001. RSAP0001. And the exits are replaced by baddies. You can use RSU5 underscore Sap Bi underscore baddie. So these are the different things. So what is that? We have got a standard data source. This is delivered by SAP. Let's say for example with some 10 columns. With some 10 columns. Right. So the 10 columns. So apart from the 10 columns, I just want to add up some additional column. One additional column. There's one or two additional columns. So that's what. So nothing but data source enhancement. In the first step, we are going to add the required columns. In the second step, see, for the new columns, we are supposed to populate data. Means we are supposed to modify the extractor. So the extractor can be modified by using this user exit or baddies. That's what I mean to say. Right. So let me tell you all the steps. So if it is a new data source, you have to install the data source. You have to install the data source RSA5. And then you have to append the data source in the second place. Append the data source RSA6. Third step, populate the data through exit C mode. Then if you want to check the extractor, check the extractor. If you want to check the extractor, check the extractor. Then in DW system, replicate data source. Then since it is master data or transaction data, if it is master data, carries their target. Otherwise, if it is transaction data, DSO or info-Q. Then create transformation. There is no change at all. Then database side, no change. Create info package and create BT. That's all. Common steps. These are all common steps. See, everywhere, what is that we have to verify? New column must be verified. Right, here also we have to go with new column. And even mapping also we have to check the appended column. Right. So let us do it. I just want to do it. So already we have got vendor attribute which is already installed, so we need not to go for this. And the code collector. Already the vendor, I want to go for vendor attribute data source enhancements. I want to go by, we got zero vendor. We got something called zero vendor underscore attribute. I just want to add the new column called vendor account code. I want to add a column called vendor account code. That's the requirement. So already the data source is installed. If it is not installed, you can just go like this. RSFI, SAP R3, metal management, metal master, so vendor attribute, select the data source, activate data source. That's all. Yes, yes, continue. So right now, second step, it is activated. The data source is activated. Now append the data source with the required columns. Append the data source RSA6, RSA6, SAP R3, metal management, material master. You can see vendor attribute, and you can see here enhance extract structure. So it has to give a default structure name. Since already somebody has appended, that's the reason it's not allowing. So I'm going back from default structure name. Give the description. Give the name. So here under component, so we are trying to add a new column to our data source structure. So that the new column will be having some data elements. So first of all, you have to give the description. So prefixed with double Z. All the customer accounts are prefixed with double Z. And I'm just making it as vendor group. Just making it as vendor group. So under component type, so this is component. So under component type, we have to maintain, under component type, we have to maintain concerned data element. See, it is highly impossible to remember all the table columns and data elements. I've given some list of tables, try to go through that. So here, the concerned data element is KTOKK. So this is the task normally. So you are going to get it in the requirement. Second group, the data element is KTOKK. Right. So VKORG, what is this? Sales organization. VKORG, sales organization. EKORG, purchase organization. Like this, there are many data elements. It's highly impossible to remember each and everything. So just you need to get in the requirement, otherwise you have to do some R&D, otherwise you can get it from functional consultants. So that's what KTOKK, just until once. Now you can see the description, length, data type, automatically it is there. Now you can just go on with save, give the package, told you package and request number, they are used for transportation, save, create request, maintain a description, save it, continue. Right. Just click on activate and continue. Regarding this, you got a separate document. You can just go through that. Right, doesn't matter, you can just go ahead. So now what happened? The data source is appended, but still it is not included. So select the data source. Select the data source. Go with change. Message continue. Message continue. I can see the newly appended column. So this is the appended column. You can see the newly appended column. So you can just deselect, hide and fill out. Hide is to exclude, but I want to include. That is the reason why we have appended. And even I want to populate data through this to this by using user access. So that's where we have to deselect both the things. You have to deselect both the things. then save it. Just save it. So that's all. Now the data source is appended with required column. The appending is done. See, this populating data to user exit is taken care by your web team. Normally this is taken care by your web team, but still we need to have some approach. I'll tell you the approach. I just want to give you the approach which I'll be talking about now. So just go for C mode. Give a project name. Just give a project name. Click on create. Already it is there, it seems. Just make it as T1. Create. Give the descriptions. Save it. Again package. Request. And see, all the customer appends or user exits are enabled through a project. I've just created a project now. For this project, I need to assign the enhancements. So just click on assign enhancements. Right. So the enhancement we have to use is RSAP 0001. RSAP 0001. Just press enter. That's where the problem. So that's what the enhancement. One enhancement can only be assigned to one project. Same enhancement cannot be assigned to multiple projects. One enhancement can only be assigned with one project. That's where the enhancements are replaced with baddies. So now what I can do, I can just continue the same project. Instead of using a new project, you can just make use of same project. VBW 220. Right? Now go on with display. Now you can see enhancement assignments, and this is the enhancement also. This is the enhancement I was just talking about. So this is the standard one. Every time you are going to make use of this. Now click on components. You can see there are different exits. So these exits are usually for the exits that are usually. So these are the different exits. These are the different exits. Definitely people are going to ask you in the interview. So the exit that is used is this one. This is used for transaction data source enhancements. Transaction data source enhancements. And this is for master data attribute data source. And this is for master data. Definite question it is. Text data source enhancements. And this is for hierarchy. Definite questions I'm telling you. So what is the exit that is used for transaction data source enhancement? What is the exit that is used for hierarchies like this? This is a standard exit. We have to go on. This is a standard one. And if it is, so let's say since our data source is master data attribute, we will double click on that. 002. Since it is attribute 002. Just double click on this and you can see the include program. This is the include program. So this is for 002. This is the include program. In the include program, the web team used to declare some parameters like this. So I_underscore data source. I_underscore data source, nothing but data source name. I_underscore CHABASNM. Right. What is that? Info object name. Nothing but the column which you are appending. So next one, update mode. So update mode, transfer mode, nothing but full and deltas. Full and deltas, that's what. So these are the parameters which are declared as part of this include program. Just give a double click on this include program. And you can see there is some logic. And there is some perform statement. If you give a double click on this, it takes you to that. So you can see there are a lot of parameters. So try to go through all this information. So this is taken care by adapting, but still just for approach and talking to you. Just try to go through all this information. So where you are going to have I underscore data source, I underscore info object, I underscore update mode, like this. All the parameters are declared by your ABAP team, and once the parameters are given, you have to activate. So this is taken care by your ABAP team, that's what I mean to say. So these are the different exits that are used for data source enhancements. Right. So now what happened? The data source is appended with the required columns. It is appended with required columns. Now I just want to go for check the extract. I want to check the extract. RSA3 errors. I mean, I will tell you. You can just go by 0 vendor underscore attribute extract. So there might be more than 1000, so 100 and 2000 extract. So total 1681. Go by display list. Double click. Right. Now you can just get into your BABW system, replicate the data source. You have to replicate the data source. RSA1. Right. Find your data source. 0 vendor underscore attribute. So you can see. Right click on data source. Replicate metadata. So what we will do in this case, see if master data is loaded to characteristic. Since it is characteristic, what is that? The new column in this case, we have to add, what is this? Vendor is the characteristic. The new column is account group, must be the attribute. Since it is attribute data, the new column is account group, must be the attribute of vendor. That's what. And you can go with mapping, create info package, everything. So let us do it. So you can't, I think you are not given any mail, even from Zengan. The next two sessions, in the next two sessions I'm going to complete. Next 2 or 3 sessions. Yeah. Yeah, even ask Chandan also. Give me a CC, huh? Yeah, just mention your word or feedback you want to mention, if you want to mention anything. That's what I'm going to take up in the next session. Anyhow, we have done some troubleshootings as part of our these things, practice. Simple things, same things. And you need to gather some additional things from sdn.sap.com, Srikanth. At least sdn.sap.com. At least gather some 4 or 5 different issues. Typical issues, and the interview you can just tell the same. So now I'm just trying to find my target, 0 vendor. So for this 0 vendor, you should have, just going for change. Some change yesterday selected for attribute change. So here, attribute, here you have to add a new attribute. So account group, which is already there. See, if it is not there, try to create. Now you know how to create an attribute. Then you have to go for mapping. So it is going. So remaining all as usual, you can just continue. Create transformation, create DTP, create info package. So very common steps. You can just continue that.